Okay. So Northern Fertile Plain or Peninsular Plateau I'm talking about. We're going to start with this Peninsular Plateau, no doubt something we have already discussed, that is about
Plateaus are also called T.
That is about Central Highland or Peninsular Plateau. The meaning already I have explained it to you. Peninsula, this part of India, look at this. This is peninsula, right? Because this area is surrounded by water from three sides. As you can see by the movement of my cursor, here we have Arabian Sea. Below that we have Indian Ocean, and here we have Bay of Bengal. So the land area which is surrounded by water from three sides, that is known as peninsula. This we have done. Next is plateau, a tableland structure. A structure which is bit raised from the nearby areas known as tableland. So this area is known as collectively peninsular plateau. Now Peninsular Plateau, already have told you it's divided into two parts. One is Central Highland, this part. This is Central Highland. And below Central Highland, this area we have Deccan Trap. This also we have already discussed. So let's talk about Central Highland first of all. Central Highland is further divided into two major areas. Okay, two major areas we have. Here we have Malwa Plateau, right? And eastern side we have Chota Nagpur Plateau. This also we have discussed. And one more point which already we have discussed, that Malwa Plateau is actually area which is not so famous for economical activity, because it's totally a badland area, a land totally uneven area. So that's why it is not so a productive area. And if you're talking about this eastern Chota Nagpur Plateau, eastern side of Chota Nagpur Plateau, that eastern side of Central Highland, that is Chota Nagpur Plateau, that area is rich in minerals. So that's why maximum mineral based industries are located here. Okay, bache? So Titiksha done, beta ji? Okay. Some number of okay. Let's start. Any doubt? Side by side we can discuss, and you can ask me also, right? Okay ji.
Tablelands. The Peninsula Plateau is also a tableland. This tableland was formed when Gondwana land broke and the peace.
So we know very well that whole of the Panjia was divided into two parts. One was Angara land, the second one was Gondwana land. So this part of India, actually a part of Gondwana land. Jitna bhi beta hamara Peninsular Plateau hai, the whole of that plateau is the oldest landmass of India. If you are talking about present day India, northern part of India where we people live, that is New India. New India means recently formed, we can say. But southern part of India, that is totally oldest landmass of the earth, and known as, it was a part of Gondwana land.
Pieces drifted apart. Gondwana land is the southern part of the ancient supercontinent Pangaea, with Angara land in the northern part. Thus, the Peninsula Plateau is part of a very old landmass. This is also evident in the composition of the plateau. It is composed of old crystalline, igneous, and metamorphic rocks.
Now let's understand this point. This whole of southern India is actually made up of these kind of rocks, which we call it as igneous and metamorphic rocks. Any one of you would love to tell me how igneous rocks are formed and how metamorphic rocks are formed? Any one of you raise? Yes?
Rocks are found by mixing of lava and water, and lava cools down to form igneous rocks. Metamorphic rocks are found when they undergo heat and pressure.
Heat and pressure, that's right, very right. So igneous rocks are actually what? When lava comes out from deep under the earth, it's full of minerals, full of pebbles, full of rocks. It comes out, it comes in contact with the atmosphere, it cools down. And when it cools down, it becomes very solid. And then what is formed, that is igneous rocks are formed. And metamorphic rocks, that when these igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks are under great pressure for a long time period. So temperature changes are there, pressure changes are there, and igneous or sedimentary rocks turn into metamorphic rocks, right, beta? So southern part of India is made up of these two, igneous and metamorphic rocks. And northern area is made up of, any one of you? Where we people live, this area is made up of? Yes, Titiksha?
Metamorphic rocks.
Sedimentary rocks. Whole of northern India is made up of actually sedimentary rocks. How sedimentary rocks are formed? Due to the deposition of the sediments, which are brought down by rivers. Like we know in North India, we have number of rivers, and all these rivers are permanent. We have Ganga river, we have Brahmaputra river, we have Indus river, and number of tributaries of all these rivers. So whenever these rivers come down, definitely they carry so much sediments with them, and all those sediments definitely get deposited somewhere. And wherever they get deposited, we have sedimentary rocks. The area where we people live, Jalandhar, Punjab, Haryana, UP, Bihar, Bengal, all these areas are actually, or whole of northern India is basically made up of sedimentary rock. And southern India is made up of igneous and metamorphic rock. Now, it doesn't mean that in North India we don't have metamorphic. In North India also we have metamorphic rock, but prominently sedimentary.
What kind of relief would you find on a tableland?
So do you think it would be a totally leveled area, a plain land, a fertile area, tableland? What do you think?
No, ma'am, it wouldn't
No.
be a fertile land.
Yeah.
The
Slope
Peninsula Plateau.
Yes, speak up. Yes.
Slope area.
Slopey area, slopes from the sides only, otherwise a tableland area, hard area, not at all very good for cultivation, basically very hard area. So cultivation is difficult there. That's why in South India cultivation is difficult. Agriculture is not a prominent activity there. Oh, got it?
Consists of both broad and shallow valleys.
Any one of you, why we have a broad valleys here? How valleys are formed?
When the mainland raises and it forms a hole, and this area gets larger and larger every day and forms the valley.
Okay. Valleys are actually formed by the erosion done by the river, hai na? As you said. Why they are broad? And why they are not very deep?
Ma'am, some are deep and some are broad.
Some are deep and some are broad. But why some are, why they are very broad? This is my main question. They are shallow and broad. They are not deep. Deep और shallow में फर्क है. They are very broad. They are not deep. ऐसे हैं वो. चौड़ाई में ज्यादा है, depth में नहीं है. क्यों? Because as already we have done, this is the oldest landmass of India. So much erosion has been made by the rivers flowing here. That because of maximum erosion, the sides of the mountain has turned into broad valley. Erode हो चुका है वो area सारा. Got it? Like North India, we have Himalayas. Himalayas may we have deep valleys. We don't have broad valleys. Got it?
And rounded hills.
Rounded hills. What is the meaning of rounded hills and why did we have rounded hills here? In North India, do we have rounded hills? Any one of you? Rounded hill indicate what? Rounded hill indicate, ये बहुत ध्यान से सुनना. Rounded hill indicate we have two type of. एक होती है ऐसे बिल्कुल तीखी. Now the hills which you can see here, they are not very sharp. They are rounded. It means जो upper sharp portion था that got eroded by the rivers. It got eroded by the rain. Got eroded by the wind. वो सारा erode हो चुका है. And after erosion, the topmost, जो sharp portion था, after erosion, तो were turned into round. Got it or not? For example, Himalayas. Himalayas are very sharp. जो उनकी peaks are, they are very conical. Conical peaks हैं. Because they are considered to be recently formed. अभी आपने किया Tethys Sea, है ना? So that's why they are conical. अभी erosion is going on. It's not like this so much erosion has taken place. Has नहीं है वहाँ पे. But when we talk about southern part of India, so much erosion has taken place because this is the oldest landmass of India. उससे भी पुराना हिमालय से बहुत पुराना है. So much erosion has taken place that we don't have conical peaks. Rather, instead of conical, we have round peaks. Got it?
Based on the relief, the Peninsula Plateau has two broad divisions: the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. Let's check out these areas on the map.
So this already, otherwise we have done
The
Central
Central
Highland.
Highlands refer to the portion of the peninsular plateau that lies to the north of the Narmada River.
So you have to locate
It
Narmada River.
covers a majority of the Malwa Plateau.
So below Malwa, we have river
The
Narmada.
Vindhya Range forms the boundary of the Central Highlands on the south.
Vindhya range
The
situated in
Aravallis
south
form
of,
the northwestern boundary of these.
okay, in between this, we have two ranges, Aravalli in the northwest and Vindhya is in south. In between this, we have Malwa Plateau. Below Vindhya, we have river Narmada. So this you have to locate on your map. ये सारे feature, whatever you're looking here, whatever you're watching here, all these features you're supposed to locate it on your map. And 101% in your test, ये सारे आएंगे maps. So Aravalli Hills location is in front of you. Vindhya Range location is front of you. Exactly below Vindhya, we have Narmada River. That already we have done.
These highlands.
मैम
The Vindhya Range.
Yes, beta. Yes.
मैम जो विंध्या रेंज के पास अगर नर्मदा रिवर है तो विंध्या रेंज की हिल्स भी राउंडेड होंगे
तो वो क्या होंगे?
क्योंकि जो नर्मदा रिवर है वो तो वहां से निकलती होगी रेंज से
नहीं, it's not from that range. They run parallel. Vindhya के नीचे नर्मदा है. They run parallel. Narmada River doesn't rise from Vindhyanchal range. It rises from Mahabaleshwaram, MP. Got it?
Has a special significance because it divides India geographically into northern India or the Indo-Gangetic Plain and southern India. Moving a little west along the Vindhya Range, the peninsular plateau gradually merges into the sandy and rocky desert of Rajasthan.
So what's the name of our desert? West of Malwa, we have a desertic area in Rajasthan. What's the name of the desert? What we call it? Thar Desert. Thar Desert.
Thar Desert.
Let's take a look at the rivers in this region. They are the Chambal, the Sindh, the Betwa, and the Ken.
So all these rivers you are supposed to make in a map also. These four, Chambal, this is Chambal, first one. This is Chambal, flows through Malwa Plateau. This is Betwa, this is Sindh, this is Betwa, this is Ken. All these four rivers are temporary rivers. These rivers join Ganga. Let me speak first of all, then you can ask question. These rivers join Ganga from south to north. These rivers are temporary rivers. These are not permanent. They don't have water throughout the year. These four rivers actually passes through this Central Highland. ये Central Highland से निकलती हैं और ultimately किसको join करते? They fall, they meet. They are the tributaries of river Yamuna and Ganga. तो उनसे मिलती हैं ये. Got it? So you have doubt? Any one of you ask? Okay. Should I proceed? Okay.
As they flow from the southwest direction to the northeast direction, they give you a fair indication which way the
Give fair indication. What kind of fair indication is here? Look, these rivers are coming from, starting from this area and moving toward that area. यहाँ से start होके इस तरफ जा रही है. What does this indicate here? क्या indicate हो रहा है?
Ma'am, they flow through Aravalli.
हाँ जी?
They flow through Aravalli Hills.
Slopes were?
Ma'am, no, they flow through Aravalli Hills.
They flow through. No. Aravalli तो यहाँ थी. Here we have Aravalli. बेटा Aravalli का कोई लेना देना नहीं यहाँ पे. They actually form due to rainfall. Whenever rainfall take place, these rivers are formed. We don't have glaciers here because here we don't have high altitude peaks. हमारे पास बहुत बड़े बड़े पहाड़ नहीं है यहाँ पे साउथ में. So whenever rainfall is formed, rainfall take place, these rivers are formed. Now what does this indicate? That this area, जो slope is toward this side, ये height है, ये low lying area है. Plain है ना ये highland है. Getting me? This whole is highland. ये height इस पे ज्यादा है. जैसे बारिश हुई height की वजह से rivers would start moving here. It indicates the slope of the area.
Mountains slope in this region. If you observe the layout of the Central Highlands on the map, the highlands seem to be wider in the west than in the east. Let's move eastwards in the Central Highlands. You may have heard of Bundelkhand.
How many of you have heard
The
about this?
famous Khajuraho temples are in this part of the country.
Bundelkhand. How many of you heard about it? Divya, where
Yeah.
is it? Divya? Yes, Bundelkhand सुना है बच्चे आपने?
Yes.
चलो वेरी गुड. किस चीज के लिए सुना हुआ है? हाँ?
हम
Jhansi.
टेम्पल्स के लिए
टेम्पल्स के लिए. ओके. और?
झांसी की रानी.
हाँ, झांसी की रानी के लिए सुना हुआ है. बुंदेलों के मुंह से, बड़ी फेमस है ये. हमने सुनी कहानी थी. बुंदेलों के मुंह से हमने सुनी कहानी थी. खूब लड़ी मर्दानी वो तो झांसी वाली. ये एरिया इज बेसिकली रानी झांसी का एरिया. बुंदेलखंड, अ पार्ट ऑफ सेंट्रल हाईलैंड. इसके आगे भी है भगेलखंड. उसके आगे भी है छोटा नागपुर प्लेट्यू.
Bundelkhand is the local name for the eastward extensions of the Peninsula Plateau. The other eastward extension is Bhagelkhand. Further east, you will come across the Chota Nagpur Plateau. This is the eastern extension of the Central Highlands. The Damodar is an important river that drains this region.
Very famous river which flows through this area, that is river Damodar in this Chota Nagpur Plateau area.
Now, we move on to the other part of the Peninsula Plateau, the Deccan Plateau.
So this is Deccan, Dakshin,
If you
south.
observe the shape of the plateau on the map, you will see that it is a triangular landmass lying to the south of the Narmada.
So here we have river Narmada. इसके ऊपर भी है विंध्या. यहाँ पे विंध्या भी है. This is river Narmada. And exactly below Narmada, बेटा, we have Satpura range. यहाँ पे दिखाएंगे अभी. We have Satpura range. Exactly below Satpura, we have Tapi range. So there are 4 prominent features. Vindhya range है. Below that Vindhya, Narmada river. Below Narmada river range Satpura. Below Satpura range river Tapi. It is Vindhya, Narmada, Satluj, Tapi.
The broad base of this triangle is in the north and the narrow tip of the triangle is in the south. The Satpura range borders this base in the north.
So this we have done, Satpura range. Below river Narmada, we have a range known as Satpura. It's actually known as Satpura because it's made up of 7 hills. Satpura, 7 hills.
On its eastern side, it has the Mahadev Hills,
Eastern
the
side
Kaimur
Mahadev.
Hills, and the Maikal range.
So these 3 ranges, Satpura is here. Here we have Satpura. ठीक है बेटा. उसके ईस्ट में महादेव, कायमूर, मैकाल. फिर और आगे जाएंगे मेघालय में. We have 3 prominent ranges, Garo,
The
Khasi,
Deccan
Jaintia.
Plateau is higher in the west and slopes gently eastwards.
बहुत ही important point. All of you are supposed to listen this thing very carefully. I guess हमने पहले भी किया हो, फिर भी मैं repeat कर रही हूँ. The height of this Deccan Trap is more in the western side. Height is more here. Western Ghat की height ज़्यादा है. Eastern Ghat की height less है. Or we can say जितना भी ये Deccan Trap है, it is like this. Suppose height is more here and height decreases here. Western Ghat है ये, and this is Eastern Ghat. So what happened whenever rainfall take place here in the Western Ghat, rivers start moving towards Eastern Ghats. Got it? ये बहुत important चीज है which all of you should know about it. क्योंकि ये साउथ की ज्योग्राफी इससे ही है.
In the northeast is an extension of the plateau called the Meghalaya and Karbi Anglong Plateau. It is believed that due to the force exerted by the movement of the Indian plate at the time of the formation of the Himalayas, a huge fault was created. This fault demarcates the Meghalaya and Karbi Anglong Plateau from the Chota Nagpur Plateau. There are three prominent hill ranges on the northeastern side of the plateau. As you move from east to west, you can
Garo.
see the Garo range,
Locate करना है आपको
the
खासी
Khasi ranges,
and Jaintia.
and the Jaintia hill.
बेटा जी ये जो गारो, खासी and Jaintia, these are three ranges. जो खासी range है ना बच्चे ये वाली, we receive the heaviest rainfall in the world. Which area? Any one of you? Which area of India receive heaviest rainfall of the world?
Meghalaya.
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 Yeah, Meghalaya. So Meghalaya is here बच्चे, ये सारा मेघालय है. तो मेघालय में ही we have खासी range. अब खासी range कैसी है? It is like this. अब I'm going to show it with the help of papers. Look at very carefully. Khasi range is like this. Yeah. Round. मतलब जैसे winds would enter, winds अंदर आई, अंदर आने के yeah, winds अंदर आई, अंदर आने के बाद ये winds है. My hand is working like a wind. अंदर आई, अंदर आने के बाद they can't move here, can't move here, can't move here, and can't move up because heavy है. So that's why heaviest rainfall would take place here in not only in India but of the world. But after giving rainfall, they would become bit lighter in bit, then they move. तो उनको कहीं जाने का रास्ता नहीं मिलता. क्यों नहीं रास्ता मिलता? Because of the funnel shape of range. The range is Khasi range. Is this point clear, बच्चे? Clear? Feedback is always essential for me. जी.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Moving southwards over the Deccan Plateau,
Yes, ma'am.
you will observe that it is bordered by Western Ghats on the west and the Eastern Ghats on the east.
Now look at the Western Ghat. Western Ghats, बिल्कुल very much close to coastal area. Difference in between Ghats and this Arabian Sea is extremely less. Here, Eastern Ghat, you can see great green area here. मतलब coastal plain जो है, that is very broad. Coastal plain I'm talking about. Coastal plains of eastern coastal plains are very broad as compared to western coastal plain. ये coastal plain है. ऐसा क्यों है? Because western Ghats बिल्कुल coast के साथ हैं, eastern Ghat थोड़े से distance पे हैं.
If you compare the ranges on both the sides of the Deccan Plateau, you will see a number of interesting differences. The Western Ghats lie
This distance difference can be asked in your exam, in your test. Difference of western between western and eastern Ghats. So be ready.
parallel to the western coast. They are continuous and can be crossed through passes only.
Very important point here. Western Ghats are continuous. They run continuously and their height is more. Their height is from 900 to 1600 meters. I'm talking about Western Ghats. Western Ghat की height बहुत ज़्यादा है. 900 to 1600 meters इसकी height है. Plus they are continuous. So it's not at all easy to cross these mountainous area. So इसको cross करने के लिए we have passes. Pass, I guess every one of you understand, that is a natural way between two mountains. Yeah, between mountains. So here we have three passes. Thal Ghat, THAL, Bhor Ghat, BHOR, Pal Ghat. ये locate भी करना है. This I'm going to show you right now.
For example, the Thal Ghat and the Bhor Ghat passes act as links between the interiors of the Deccan Plateau and Mumbai. Another pass, the Pal Ghat Gap, found on the Kerala-Tamil Nadu border, serves as a major communication route between the two states. The Eastern Ghats stretch from the Mahanadi Valley to
So
the
rivers
Nilgiris.
also you have to locate. This is, look, you can see this area, whole of huge area of India. आप सबके map में होगा. This is actually a delta made by river Mahanadi. This you can see, this portion. This is the delta made by river Godavari. Below that, this area, delta made by river Krishna. Below this Kaveri, delta made by river Kaveri. So Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri deltas are formed by these rivers. And we have Nilgiri Hills, very famous for the production of coffee as well as for spices. जितने भी गरम मसाले भी have cardamom, spices, cloves वगैरह, ये सारे हमारे बहुत होते हैं इंडिया में. नीलगिरी हिल के जो spices है world famous. People visit our country in the past. इस चीज के लिए they were coming to our country. Dutch, Portuguese, French. इस चीज के लिए they were coming to our country basically for clove, spices and all that. So Nilgiri Hills are situated wherever two Western Ghats and East. Now here it's not mentioned here, but otherwise where two Ghats meet with each other, Western Ghats और Eastern Ghats आपस में मिलते हैं, there we have Nilgiri Hills.
In the south. Unlike the Western Ghats, the Eastern Ghats are discontinuous and
Very, very important point and a very normal question which I thought definitely ask in all the tests and all that. Why Eastern Ghats are discontinuous and why Western Ghats are continuous? ये मेरा बहुत ही favorite question है. मैं आपको सीधा बता रही हूँ. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि एग्जाम में आएगा, but हमें पता होना चाहिए. Being Indian, we should know about it. So why Eastern Ghats are so much discontinuous, टूटे फूटे हैं, and why Western Ghats are continuous? So Pratiksha is going to explain the answer. Yes, yeah, sure, बच्चे.
Western Ghats are 1500 meter high and Eastern Ghats are 600 meter high. Because Eastern Ghats are low in height because rivers flow through it and erode the soil here.
Exactly,
So the
exactly.
Western
Exactly. जितनी भी बेटा रिवर्स आपको ये हल्की फुल्की शायद दिख रही हो. This is river Mahanadi, sorry Godavari. This is Godavari. This is river Krishna. ये थोड़ा ब्लू आपको दिख रहा है, कृष्णा रिवर है. And here we have Kaveri river. ये सारी रिवर्स क्या करती हैं, यहाँ से चलती हैं, स्टार्ट यहाँ से हो रही हैं. Because इनकी हाइट ज्यादा है, जैसे बारिश पड़ी, they'll start moving and they'll start moving towards the eastern side. Now question is why they start moving towards the eastern side? Because slope of the area. Slope is toward this side. ठीक है, यहाँ पे height as she has given, yes, I have told you 1600 and here height is 600 meters. So जैसे rainfall would take place, rivers water would start moving toward this side, towards that side. इस तरफ आना शुरू हो जाएगा. And whenever river water will move, it will start eroding the area. जो भी रास्ते में पत्थर वत्थर आएंगे, it will start eroding the area. And due to erosion, Eastern Ghats have become discontinuous. Got it? Eastern Ghats are discontinuous because of the erosion done by Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri and their tributaries.
regular.
everything is clear.
They are interspersed
Yes, Pratiksha?
Ma'am, I said everything is clear.
Okay.
with several rivers that drain into the Bay of Bengal. These rivers are the Godavari.
So
The
all these rivers you can locate, you can take the screenshot, whatever you want to do, but I need full-fledged map. Whatever I'm showing to you, I need same in your exam, in your test, in your maps, everywhere. मुझे map, I am highly impressed if your map work would be good. मुझे map चाहिए geography में. I don't want written material much.
Mahanadi, the Krishna, and the Kaveri. Let's now compare the heights of the two ranges. The average elevation of the Western Ghats is 900 to 1600 meters. On the other hand, the Eastern Ghats have an average elevation of about 600 meters only. Thus, the Western Ghats are taller than the Eastern Ghats. The height of the Western Ghats progressively increase from north to south.
So this we will do tomorrow because 1 minute, less than 1 minute I have right now.